Good morning. So Miss Annie is in heat, so she's getting a date today with the boulder. That's going to put her in for kidding around March 5th. So happy. I was really hoping she'd have babies already because I tried breeding her with Bella, but she wasn't cycling then. So happy goats. And success. Ruby, you're in here today, Ruby. Hello. So this will be Ruby and Annie's first kidding. They're going to be able to dam raise their kids. The kids will be for freezer purposes, and then we'll be there to monitor and make sure nothing's stuck, but they should have no problem kidding on their own, hopefully. So I put Ruby in with Annie also to see if she'll get bred around the same time. I'd like them to kid close together. Ideally, I like breeding them a little earlier. They're getting on the older side. So if they go too long before they get bred first, sometimes the goats get too fat. They build up fat all around their reproductive organs, and then they won't be able to get pregnant. When the vet came out for the vet check recently, she said that they're all in good breeding condition. So we shouldn't have an issue getting them bred, hopefully. I was hoping for kidding much earlier this season so that the kids would get bigger we like to butcher in the fall. So they'll probably be held, if they're born in March, they'll be held a lot longer than we normally do, and then butchered the following fall. So ideally, I like to have the meat goats where they're kidding. December is really nice, and then they have 2.5 months on mom, puts them almost at the end of hay season by the time they're on solid foods. So it's really nice when they go from mom to a little bit of hay and then right out to pasture where their feed cost is minimal to me. It's not the case for the Boers. I'm probably going to overwinter them a full winter. So our feed costs will be a lot higher for the meat for next year. Francine's going to kid, I'm guessing, in the next month. So her kids will probably be butchered next fall. And then the Boer's kids will probably be held much longer. We were starting to get nervous that the Boers might not catch because they weren't cycling. We put them in with Boulder for about 2 months earlier this year in hopes that they'd be kidding with Bella and Francine, and they just wouldn't cycle. So I'm really happy to see that Annie is definitely cycling, and from all external things I can tell that she is now pregnant, hopefully. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it catches. And then I'm just waiting for Ruby to go into heat. Hi Ginny, how's your breakfast? So my original 2 meat goats were Francine and Luna. Luna was Francine's half-sister. So my story of Luna... Who's yelling? So my story of Luna is the reason I have the 2 Boer goats right now. So on Luna's last kidding, we had some really bad issues with her health. I brought the vet out. The vet said she seems to have arthritis, which as a diagnosis for a goat that's very young and was only a few weeks from having babies, was a very bad diagnosis, and I disagreed with it, but I didn't know what else was wrong. So the reason why you should also have a mentor that knows about goats, has been doing it for years, on top of having a vet, is that I called my mentor, and he knew what was wrong right away. So Luna had preg tox, so she was having triplets, and she really needed more calories and a lot more TLC than she needed in the past when she's only had singles or twins. So we got to her a little later than I would have liked because the vet didn't catch it. She was limping weird, and then she kept going down, having a hard time getting up. So I got her on a treatment of the glycol, which is sugar, and extra grain, and also calcium injections. I was giving her a few times a day. Went through a whole big bottle of calcium on her. And she started getting better. She had the kids, and she was really weak, and she was still unsteady on her feet. So I chose to pull the kids and bottle fed them because she wasn't caring for them. She was having a hard time staying up long enough for them to eat, and they were getting hungry. So pulled the kids, bottle fed them. And Luna, she needed a lot of TLC. So I'd let her out with the other goats so she'd have some company. And since she was unsteady on her feet, Francine was beating her up, knocking her over. It was horrible. So then I tried stalling her, but she was going to need to be in there for a long time because she was going to take a while to heal, and it just wasn't a great facility for me to take care of the goat in. So I opted to post her to see if anyone had a better situation and was willing to take her for me, because it was a really bad time for me to be putting so much effort into trying to treat this goat. And I was going to do it, but it was a lot of care. And then a really lovely woman responded to me that had a 3-legged lamb in a big barn stall. So it was really the perfect situation. She asked me how much I wanted for her, and I'm like, please just take her and help her out, because poor goat, she was having a hard time. So really happy ending to the story. I lost a $600 goat, but Luna is doing great now, and she had a baby this year, and she's happy, healthy, and she's actually the bully of that herd. So that worked out really well for her. But yeah, any goat that seems weak on their legs, really close to birth, try treating for preg tox, or at least have the vet check their levels and see if it can be preg tox, because that's a common issue, and I was upset with myself for missing it, but it was the first time I've ever dealt with it. I've seen it on other people's YouTube channels, so I was a little annoyed that I didn't catch it myself. But having a mentor is so important. Someone to call when you're lost and not sure what the problem is great. But we got the Boers to replace Luna, and this will be their first kidding season, so I'm excited. Hopefully they're good mothers. Interesting with the Boers, I've never seen it before, is it's very common for them to have weird teats. So both of the Boers have 4 teats like a cow. Most of the goats just have 2. So that's acceptable in the meat breeds. It's very unacceptable in the dairy breed. So you don't want a milk goat that has more than 2 teats. Boris, did you roll around in the mud? Yeah. Are you yucky? Super yucky? Super yucky. Yeah, I see you. You're going back outside. I need to wash you. You're not coming to my house. You stay. Don't touch me. Muddy dog. Go run. Go. Yeah. Go run. Run off the mud. Run. Please wash your face. So, heard a goat screaming. This is why. So I try not to have anywhere they could stick their heads in, because horned goats get stuck. And Rue wants babies. Yeah. She got herself out, but she was getting bashed against the fence by Francine with her head stuck in there. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, go away. So that's why I had chicken wire on here, to have a better separating fence for the goats, but Boulder and Francine tore up the chicken wire, so I had to take it down this weekend. Or last weekend, rather. But part of why I like this 4x4 woven wire fencing. They can't get their heads through it unless they're small kids. Good morning. So I haven't seen any mounting going on for Ruby, but as you can see, she has dirt where his back legs would be, and her underside of her tail is really dirty, called muck butt. So I'm fairly certain Ruby's been bred. I'm gonna mark the day as of yesterday. So that's really cool. That means Annie and Ruby should give birth pretty close to each other, so the kids will be similar in age, and that's really nice. Hi, Ruby.